Hey everyone on Facebook and YouTube, thank you for joining us. We're going to record another radio show. Hey, if I could get you give me some likes, loves, shares, subscription, all that stuff, please hit every button, smash every button known to man. Share it is the big one on Facebook that we absolutely pick up some new folks. So if you could do me that favor, I'd really appreciate it. We're going to talk a little more motivation. Jason doesn't get into a lot of motivation, and ours is a different sort of motivation. We're motivating, 45-plus-year-old guys and gals. So it's a little bit different than, let's go out and crush it and hit it hard and, let's go run 2 marathons in one day. Well, that's not the motivation we're going to be talking about today. So. Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate, and this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight. As always, we appreciate you guys turning on the radio and tuning in here. If you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, thanks again. Smash it, hit it, subscribe, all those buttons, please hit. And if you're listening on a podcast, again, somehow I'm inside your head, and that's a little creepy. All right, guys. Hey, we're going to talk more about you today. More about you. A couple nights ago, we talked about, hey, if it's not happening, the only person to blame is yourself. Well, if it is happening and you are successful, then that's also you. So let's talk about the upside of being a real estate investor or taking on some challenges or being an entrepreneur when you start knocking down some of these hurdles and you become successful, right? So let's talk about how this stuff will absolutely start to accelerate. It's exponential growth once you start knocking down a few of those hurdles that are standing in everyone's way. And so we want to get you excited about that. But first, I want to let everyone know that we have our grand opening at the Texas Real Estate Investment Center. And you can go check out our website, REICTX.com. That stands for RE is in real estate, IC is investment center, TX as in Texas.com. Go check that out, and we'll be able to. One of my employees doesn't know I do a radio show. Sorry, go to REICTX.com and make sure you're looking at our new grand opening link and sign up. It's $10. There's going to be food. There's going to be beer. I think we just ordered 2 kegs today. And then we had some Bud Light bottles and then cans, actually, the can bottle. And we've ordered the barbecue, so I believe it's brisket and sausage with a side. So it's all going to be a lot of fun. And come out, our vendors will be here. So please check it out at REICTX.com, grand opening. That's going to be June 17th. It's a Thursday. So we appreciate it. All right, let's talk about you. Again, we want you to be successful. In fact, we want to have 250 real estate millionaires around us, right? We're building out our circle, and we want you to be a part of it. And in order to get there, you're going to have to be successful. You're going to have to be able to knock down some of those hurdles. So let's talk about those hurdles that get in front of you when you start real estate investing, when you become a real estate entrepreneur, right? So we'll cover some of the stuff that we don't really talk about, and then we'll get into the buy and hold. One, if you're doing wholesaling, right, one of the really first hurdles that you're going to come up with is proof of funds. Right, I remember it all so well. Like, this was such a huge challenge in my life to find a proof of funds letter, and there was always this secret website out there, and it was in Tacoma, Washington, or St. Louis, Missouri, and if we could just find that website, they give you a free proof of funds, and everything is great. Of course, those never worked out, and when it finally came around, it became so simple. I got my first proof of funds letter through a networking event, through a buddy of mine, Brad. At the time, Brad and his partner at the time were flipping and doing apartment flips and big house flips and all in Southern California. And I said, man, I'm struggling to get a proof of funds. He's like, buddy, come on in here. And he just printed off his bank account statement and said, there you go. And there was like $1.3 million in there. He's like, use that. And if there's any other problems, just let him talk to me. I'm like, great. So I became his bird dog, and I went out there, started finding properties. And I think I did give him one over in Toluca Lake was a nice little wholesale deal we did. But it took so much and it was so hard to get. So I know that if you're a new wholesaler out there, and I don't recommend you going into wholesaling. I think it's going to be a great waste of time and money. But if you're going to go and you're going to start, regardless of what me or Jason say, then that proof of funds becomes that first hurdle. But once you knock down that hurdle, man, it feels good and you're off and running. Okay? The second thing, as a house flipper, right? So, hey, we want to be on TV. You could definitely, oh my God, so many house flippers think they should have a TV show. It's ridiculous, right? Because the problem with house flipping is you have built a business. It's not an investment strategy. It is a business. Flipping houses is a full-time, massive business venture, which is why a lot of people don't make it. Right? Because they didn't have the skills to build a business in the first place, and they fail at that business part of it. Okay? Now, one of those big first hurdles when you're flipping a house is called the gap funding. Right? Because if we're going to do this, you got to use OPM, right? Other people's money. We got to figure out a way to get a hard money loan and to get a personal loan or a second on the property or a JV of some sort to do the gap. What is the gap? Okay. I think jet lending, if you get the deal cheap enough, does not require any gap funding. It might be a small number, but a lot of lenders out there are going to do, hey, we do 80% of the acquisition or 90% of the acquisition and 100% of the rehab, which is great, but you still need to come up with 10% of the purchase price and then all the closing costs and all the points and all the fees. And so you wind up needing about 20% of the deal. That's usually the gap. Now, there are very few hard money lenders that will lend 100%, and it's usually not to newbies. Okay? Like a guy like Chris Hopper, I think he uses Daryl for his money. I'm sure he's getting 100% funding for that deal. I'm sure with all of his experience, he's fine, right? Other guys out there that were doing it, they're all getting their 100% because they have a track record. But if you're new, that's what we're talking about today. If we're new as a house flipper, man, finding that gap funding can be challenging. And what most people do, couples that have worked for 40 years, they go into their own bank account and pay for it. Well, we can really find a way to JV, take a second, some way for us to get that production done with other people's money or very little money out of pocket is a real achievement in the house flipping world. So those two really, really big hurdles. Now for us in the buy and hold world, there's a whole bunch of little challenges, right? But they're all going to be victories for you. Right? For you. This is the big stuff. So let's just run off a couple of them real quick. When we come back from break, we'll go into it a little deeper. You're going to have to find a deal. You're going to have to fund a deal. You're going to have to come up with the gap on that deal, right? You have to find contractors. You're going to have to find tenants. There's big steps along the way, right? Sort of 6 big things that we're going to have to make sure that we have covered. And we'll cover that when we come back. We'll talk about those 6 major steps when you're doing a buy and hold strategy and how the victories will be yours. Again, this is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. If you haven't checked out our website lately, go ahead and check it out. It's mrtxre.com. MR is in Mr., TX is in Texas, RE is in realestate.com. You can come see all our events, including the grand opening for the Texas Real Estate Investment Center. We have a landlord workshop for new folks who are getting into landlord. I think it's like $10 or $12. It's dirt cheap, and I believe they provide kolaches. So it's a wash if you eat enough kolaches. We have our apartment mastery. We have a couple other programs coming up. So go check out our event page or just kind of see what we're doing here lately. Again, Robert here, world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. We'll be back. Again, Facebook, please. Shares, likes, loves, thumbs up, all that good stuff. YouTube. Remember Tesla tonight, the Model S release event. Yeah, hold on. Let me see if this kid texted me. Sorry, guys. I'm good. Ready to go. Hey, good evening, everyone. Robert with world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. We are back. So let's talk about those 6 big hurdles for buy and hold investors. And when you start knocking them down, how good it feels. And then once you've knocked down all 6, man, it's just rinse and repeat until dead or rich. So, first one, finding the properties. It can be pretty challenging, especially in this market. And what we've said is, hey, the single families are super hard to find. Duplexes, 3s, and 4s, not as hard, and those are going to be good for you who are trying to be landlords, right? So, boy, I think we're presenting 7 properties to our mastermind on Monday night. 7. Some people are getting sneak peeks and going in early and snatching them up, but we have 7 properties out there from all the way from 2 single families and then duplexes and 3 units and then 8 units. So we're out there presenting them. We do all the due diligence on the stuff. We make sure we figure out, we get the scope of work and all that stuff. And so, obviously in the mastermind, it's pretty easy to find deals because you're working with us. If you're not working with us, then it can be challenging, right? You have a full-time job. Again, we know who you are. You're probably an engineer. You're probably some sort of professional in the medical business, right? You got 6 figures. You're doing well. We're not talking to these days about the 20-something-year-old who's trying to, bootstrap it up and rise and grind. And I'm going to be like Gary Vee and I'm going to be like this guy. And we're not talking to you. We're really talking to that individual who's, father, mother, got a family, got to go out there, just looking to better their retirement. And so all those things that we've talked about before to get in the way of life, right? Just all those little things, just sort of life gets in the way of becoming a real estate investor. That's the truth. So what you need to do is you're going to need to work with agents. You're going to need to, I would not be wholesaling yourself. I would set some criteria. I'd be doing my Saturday night property hunts. Saturday night, you know what I'm talking about, guys. You're Saturday night, it's 9:30, the kids are to bed. You got your laptop on your lap. You got a glass of wine or a beer sitting next to you. And you're just searching Zillow, searching HAR, right? Just going through, looking at properties, making out a list and thinking, hey, this is good, and doing all your research on Saturday night and then sort of never following up on Monday morning. Yeah, we know. Been there too. But once you get it, once you take that step to work with an agent or work with a wholesaler or work with Mr. Texas Real Estate to start finding these properties, and we start knocking them down, boy, that's a great, great feeling. It's a great feeling. It's nervous, absolutely. It's, fear, unknown, and doubt, right? FUD. Hear it all the time in stocks, right? Where they try and short sell, they create this FUD. You're creating it yourself in your own head. The fear, unknown, doubt. Can I do this? I'm not sure. Oh, my God, I had a brother-in-law who lost money in real estate in Florida, and I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to go to those family reunions or Thanksgivings or Christmas and talk about my failures. And it's just unknown. I don't know what I'm doing, right? And so I get it. It's all right there. It's like 3 frying pans getting thrown at your head like you're in a cartoon, like 1, 2, 3, like, oh my God, I got to get through this. But once you get through it, you get that first deal, my God, you're on top of the world. And that victory is yours. That is your victory. You did it. Were the people around to help you? Absolutely. But man, getting through the fear, the unknown, and the doubt, and signing the deal and closing the deal, that is a triumph. You did it. And along the way in that closing, you got your insurance, you got all the title, you got all the surveys, you got all that stuff that goes with closing. You're looking at it, maybe a little overwhelming, but you still progressed and you made it. You got one. What's the most important thing to do this year? It's buy a rental house. Then you got to fix it up. There's going to be repairs. You maybe negotiated a few $1,000 off for this and that, but you still got to get a roof on. You got to get a contractor out there. You got to get air conditioning. You got to get the doors fixed. You got to get windows. All these things that are just sort of there. Like, you don't find deals that are in pristine condition, right? It's all about getting this sort of undervalued market deal that's going to need a little love so that you can raise it up to the market number and you can make a ton of money in your appreciation. So now you got to go and become a project manager in construction. Boy, here's the really interesting thing, especially with you engineers. It's almost inverse. Like, you have so much fear and unknown and doubt when it comes to the financial part of it and the legal part of it of buying a house. But when you roll into construction, you guys feel like, I can take care of this. This isn't a problem. And man, if there's any place to have a little bit of unknowns, uncertainty, it's with the contractors, because it's a mess out there. It's a mess. So this is where, hey man, you've networked, right? You've been out, we tell you to network. We taught you how to increase your sphere of influence, right? This is what we do in the mastermind, right? You go out there and find it. We've got mastermind students who are like, hey man, I've got a plumber, an electrician ready to go. I got a framer, I got a roofer. I mean, they're building out their network. So you're going to have to go and do that. Whether you come to our events or other events, you come to our open house, you come to our apartment mastery, join the mastermind, whatever it is. You got to build out that network, because those guys will, tale of two bids. Okay? So we had, we have one of the mastermind students just bought a 3-unit. It's nice. It's inside the loop. It's all good, right? It's going to do very, very well, but needs a new roof. So we called 3 roofers. One roofer is one guy we've always used, and we're kind of sour on him now because of permits and stuff. He's just slow on the paperwork. He did not respond because he's too busy. Then we got a guy who responded immediately with a really nice quote, and his number was $19,000. I almost fell off my chair. I was like, man, for $19,000, me and A-Rock will go put that roof up. Because we're talking maybe $4,000 in material, so that becomes a $15,000 profit center. It's like, no way. And then the other guy came back very reasonable. He was at $8,600, something like that. That's where it needed to be. And maybe there's going to be a little more expenses when we take the roof off and look at the plywood, and we might have to replace some of that. So maybe $10,000. So we had 0, 10, and $19,000. A lot of guys get stuck on the 19 because the $19,000 guys, they respond. They respond to your inquiries, right? And the guys who do it at fast and cheap, right? So you got to work on and make sure you stay on top of them to get the good part out of it out. Those guys don't respond. You've got to put a lot of pressure on those guys to get out there and give you a bid. So again, that becomes the next hurdle. But man, once you start getting this little bit of a network, once you find the roofers are the roofers, right? The roofers and the foundation guys are there amongst themselves. But once you find like a good electrician, the electrician typically knows a plumber, and the plumber typically knows a tile guy, and the tile guy typically knows a paint and a drywall guy, and boom, your network opens up. And now all of a sudden you've got not one but 2 contractors for each of the major trades, and you start feeling good, and you should, because that, amongst everything else, is the hardest part about buying and holding. It's the contractor stage. But you've accomplished it. You've done your network. You've learned how to network. You've listened to Jason and I talk about networking, and you've accomplished it. We're going to continue on after the break here. We're at the bottom of the hour. This is Robert with world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Hang out, guys. We'll be back. If you guys are on Facebook or YouTube, please likes, loves, shares. Let me see who's on my. All right, this is how we do it. Welcome back, everyone. Robert here with world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. Thanks for joining us tonight. As always, we super appreciate you guys hanging out with us on the radio or listening to us in podcast or watching us on Facebook and YouTube. We're really, really appreciative. And again, we've kind of did a soft announcement. I won't do it until Jason comes back, but we have some pretty big things going on, and it's going to be a lot of fun what we got working on. So check out our website, mrtxre.com. And again, we have our grand opening. At the time of our recording this, it's 1 week from today, and there'll be hundreds of people in this building, all looking for the whiskey and the beer. No, they're all good real estate folks. And we're going to be running, and it's going to be great. So we're doing some follow-up and trying to finalize the program today. And our sponsors have generous donations have helped us out, so it should be a lot of fun, and we're really in good shape for that. So go to REICTX, Real Estate Investment Center, Texas, REICTX.com, and you can get your tickets right there. It's an Eventbrite link. It's $10. Proceeds go to charity. I think it's puppies and beer. We really appreciate it. All right, let's go back to your victories, right? So we said, again, the first thing is, actually engaging an agent and knocking it out and going through that process of getting the financing, getting the insurance, knocking all those things away and accomplishing that and closing that deal. It's a challenge. It is a big-time challenge today with appraisers and underwriters. It's chaos in the streets. Chaos. But if you can get it and you can close it, that's a good feeling. Second, become a master project manager. You've herded all the cats together to get your new hot water heater and your new roof and to fix the foundation and to redo the floors and to get some cabinets in. And you've got a product now that you're proud of and you can put on the market for rent. And now you've got to go and either decide if you're going to rent it and property manage it yourself or if you're going to hire someone else. I would think if you do have the time, it's not like super crazy. Like we have a guy in our mastermind who flies to St. Louis and he's in Beaumont 2 days, and then he's in St. Louis 3 days a week, right? And that's his schedule. And then he's back here on the weekend. So I wouldn't recommend him the property manager himself. But if you're like, hey, I'm driving to the Woodlands every day in my little cubicle at Exxon, I do my thing, and I come out, or hey, I'm over here on the energy corridor and working for BP or whoever, and I'm in my little cubicle and they give me some days at home to work, you might want to go ahead and try to self-manage them, and I would do no more than 3. Once it hits 3, you're going to get, and it's always, the holiday weekend is when you get the most service requests because people are in their house, there's a party in their house, and things are busting out, right? So if you got 3, I think you can handle that. After 3, you really need to sort of get into the property management world. And I really don't have that many recommendations out there. Each are it's always, either they're good at this or they're good at that, or they're good at this and they're not so good at that, or they're not good at this and they're good at that. So, we figured out a way to work around that within our mastermind, but that's for our mastermind members only. Anyway, you're going to have to figure out the property management. So you're going to have to lease it, right? And there's lots of ways to advertise it and go out there and just first thing you want to do is put a sign in the front yard, right? Get yourself a throwaway phone number from Google so you can collect all those voicemails and text, and then you can go ahead and set up your showings, right? Again, there's great books and bigger pockets and dare I say even over at Lifestyles, they have Jason swears by the way that they taught him to lease a property. So if you're going to self-manage, there's some really great assets out there that you can find. We use a property manager we've in-house, and so when we first do it, though, I think getting 1 or 2 managing them are going to be interesting. We love Section 8, so we have a system. But, you're going to go out there and you're going to have your nice little 3-bed, 2-bath in Texas City that you picked up for $150 and you put $15,000 in, and you're looking to get $1,600 a month rent on a 4-bedroom. It's not outrageous to think that you can get that these days. And you'll have to go down there and do the showings and do the background checks and get all those resources and online stuff together. But you're going to find that first tenant. You're going to take that deposit. You're going to take that first month. And oh, my goodness, you're going to feel great. You're going to feel like Donald Trump, real estate tycoon. You just leased your first single-family house. This is awesome. That's a big one. So you leased it. You got 2 things you just took care of there. You leased it, right? And now you set up the property management. That's you. Whew. This is great. This is really, really great. You found it. You went through. You got the insurance, the appraisals, the financing. You closed on it. You whipped those contractors into shape. You got everything going. You got out there. You did your own showings. You signed your own lease. And now you got these guys ACHing your money to you at $12.01 on the first of every month. Good. 4 of the 5 knocked out. This is awesome. I got to maintain it. Right? So, got to find, typically if it's a duplex, you're going to have to take care of the lawn. If it's a single family, we tell our single family residents they have to take care of the lawn and keep it up. You're going to need pest service. I highly recommend you get an HVAC contractor in there once a month to do just an annual service call. You'll extend the life of your air conditioning by at least 3 to 4 years if you just drop someone $110 once a year to go in and do that. So you'll set up your maintenance schedule, you do your drive-bys, you're going to want to do your actual inspections twice a year. It's great. You did it. Victory. You're going to step back and thinking way back when you had all that fear and the unknown and all that doubt that was running through your head, and you're going to have a good laugh of it. You're going to have a good smile when you sit down with your wife and have a drink or have a piece of steak, right? You're going to feel good. Now it's time to rinse and repeat. Go do it again. As long as that capital bucket keeps getting filled up by your day job, we can go do another one. Let's go do another one. This time we're going to do a little bit better. We're going to analyze our mortgage options a little bit better, right? Hey, maybe I don't do the 30. Maybe I talk like that guy Robert on the radio says, do 15. And you start looking at that and you're saying, yeah, I can still cash flow about $110 on this, all things being equal. So why don't I get to 15? Now you're setting yourself up for massive success with equity. That's the real sexy part of it. And we'll talk about equity when we come back here for this last segment. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. Hey, so if you can't join the mastermind, because our mastermind is $12,500 for year 1, $7,500 for year 2, $5,000 for year 3, and $2,500 for year 4. Free thereafter. It's free thereafter. We have a $25 a month Patreon account. So go to mrtxre.com, and it'll have our Patreon link somewhere in there under education. And for $25 a month, you get Q&A with Jason and I. You get all our classes that we've recorded. Go into the library, get some forms and some other things, and we send you some brownies and stuff. So for $25 a month, man, I think that is a stupendous deal, and we'd love to see you in there. So go check out our website, mrtxre.com. MR is in Mr. TX is in Texas. MRTXRE as in real estate, .com. So go out there and check that out. You'll see our events. You'll see the Patreon. You'll see our mastermind page. All really, really good. So hang out, guys. We're going to come back on this break, and we're going to talk a little bit more about wrapping up your buy and hold victories. This is Robert. We'll be back. Ready to go. Hey everyone, this is Robert with Mr. Texas Real Estate, and this is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. All right, we are talking about you tonight and your victories. So let's get to the big blast, huge end zone dance, spike, taunting flag thrown victory. And that's when you have set up these systems to rinse and repeat. Now, it gets challenging. Finance is going to become a challenge, right? You're going to become an expert at the rehabbing and the contractors and finding deals. The money's going to be a problem. And real estate is really dictated by financial terms. It's not how great the deal is or how much work needs to be done or how much little work needs to be done. It's all about the financing. And so once you start figuring that out, you're going to have to become a mortgage expert, right? You're going to have to spend time figuring out these loans. Again, there's going to be a lot of hard money guys who are going to help you out at first, and they're going to roll you into these larger non-QM loans and higher rate interest rates, and you're going to be good on that for your first two, and then you're going to hear guys like me talking about 3.75 or under 5% long-term money, and you're going to be like, wait a minute, is that in my name? No, it's in your LLC. You're going to hear me talking about a 4.75 non-recourse loan for apartment buildings. You're like, whoa, how do I get those? Well, the quick answer is join the mastermind, right? Because we have people here whose full-time job it is to research the loan market, constantly being able to find avenues for long-term 30-year financing that will produce cash or 15-year financing that will produce a massive amount of equity. So once you get the financing down, then you're really in good shape. So a lot of people join the mastermind to find deals because they don't have time and really to figure out the financing. We help them. We do let our construction company work for a lot of those guys, but it's just so hard even for us these days. So, we have a lot of type A personalities join our mastermind, and I really don't want to hear them complain that the fact the plumber's, 2 days late. The plumber's 2 days late everywhere in Houston right now. But anyway, we do have those services if you absolutely need them. So you got it. You got your 3, like we told you to do. You got 3. You've got better financing on number 3. You're super happy. And now you're watching that equity grow. And holy cow. Holy cow. Good on you, everyone in the mastermind who bought houses last year in the middle of COVID. Like, do the victory dance, guys and gals. Celebrate it. Because in just 6 months, your appreciation is about 15%. 15%. On the average house is like $200,000 because they're buying multifamily, small multifamilies. So let's say it's 10%. They made $20,000 already. Plus they put 25 down, so they're now at 35% in the property is equity. We're going to get another 10%, so we're going to get to 46, 47% equity in 2 years. Now, some of it is your own money, but man, we're there. Year 3, when I think goes up to 60, that's when you're going to sell 1 and pay off 2. That's the secret of our mastermind, right? It's getting out and just rinsing and repeating, and it gets easier as you go. I think when folks who don't join the mastermind and don't have a group around them that to focus them, they get distracted. Again, life gets in the way. Find yourself running off to Oklahoma for a softball tournament. Get it. I understand 100% what's going on, but man, it is absolutely a challenge to knock this stuff out. So thanks for joining us. I'm sorry, we're not done yet. It's a really big challenge, but once you get that stuff down, man, once you knock that out, we're in really good shape. Excellent shape. So this is the victory of you. You take your victory lap. And you can post on Facebook, and you can talk to your in-laws, and you can feel really good about the stuff that you've worked on. It's really, really good. You should feel good. Talked about it again a couple of nights ago. The fear that held you back is all you. And the thing that made you move forward is also all you. And you can choose whether you're going to embrace the fear and do nothing, or you're going to go out there and you're going to start moving forward. Again, I will tell you, and we're going to do a double here. Real estate's a very simple business, right? It's simple. At times it's not easy, but it's simple. And I know who most of you guys are who listen to us, and I can tell you there are a lot of less educated folks out there than you that are already real estate millionaires. So it's not a matter of I need to educate. I mean, I get it. I mean, you're talking about compression rates and stress fractures and all this stuff with big, massive machinery that can have massive impacts in our world, and you have to be perfect in that world. We get it. And so you're going to take that sort of education ethic and try and apply it to real estate, and you're going to get lost. Because some part of your brain, Mr. Engineer, Mr. Medical Professional, Mr. Legal Professional, Mr. Business Professional, some part of your brain is going to say, it can't be this easy. And guess what? It is. It is. It's going to be simple. And once you get the systems in place, it becomes easy. It does. Now, does it happen in 1 year? Probably not. It's going to take 2 to 3 years for you to hit your stride, especially if you're working a full-time job. Then year 4, 5, 6, and 7, it's going to be fantastic. I'm telling you, a lot of folks in our mastermind, somewhere around year 5 in our group, are going to be like, I don't need to work anymore. I mean, that's the ultimate victory. Having choices of what to do with your time. I can continue to work because I like figuring out the RPM and the stress factors on drills that are, thousands of feet below sea level. Good on you, man. That's awesome. Or figuring out, hey, where do we think we're going to find oil? What is the geological samples telling us? That could be fun. That could be great. But you'll choose to work there versus having to work there. And that, my friends, is the ultimate victory. You can do it on your own. You can join the mastermind. If you want to learn more about the mastermind, text mastermind to 281-401-9008. 281-401-9008. Go ahead and text it. Just so you know the prices, $12,500 year 1, $7,500 year 2, $5,000 for year 3, $2,500 for year 4, and free thereafter. We're looking for individuals who make 6 figures or more in their annual salary, have a 700 FICO or better, 740 or better would be the really sweet spot, and have capital to deploy and are thinking about real estate. Right? I know a lot of folks did Bitcoin in the last few years, and it's up and it's down. I get it. But if you don't have any real estate, again, real estate is sort of that inflation hedge that we talk about. So it might be time to join the mastermind. Text mastermind to 281-401-9008, 281-401-9008. Go ahead and text it, and let's get you started. Guys, I really appreciate you hanging out. Hopefully you got a little insight today. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate, and as always, we certainly appreciate you guys hanging out, spending some time with us. All right, guys, take care. See you again tomorrow night. All right, we're going to do